All right, YouTube. This is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit, back with another video on this Wednesday morning. Now we got to talk about it. Cory Booker filibustered for 24 hours about nothing, about absolutely nothing. Then you have the Democrats still pandering and still trying to create a narrative that Trump is fascist and you know what I mean? And you're going to get your Social Security taken, your Section 8 taken. They're still fear mongering and telling the black community lies to keep them on the Democratic plantation. But there are so many things that they're not telling the black community. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Because Al Sharpton, he goes on the Breakfast Club and he actually starts to tell the truth about the Democratic Party. You know, he gets in front of the microphone and he gets to talking, but then he reveals things about himself because he was one of the ones that took $500,000 for Kamala Harris for a softball interview. He's the one that's been stepping out front, leading certain protests and acting as if he's a representative for the black community or that he's some type of leader that we have given consent to advocate for us, as if we don't know his history. You know, his history of race hustling, race baiting, manipulation. But today he goes on the Breakfast Club and gets in front of Charlemagne, who is duplicitous to say the least. Charlemagne says whatever script they give him. But today they got to talking about things that are like some black people need to hear. I'm going to point out a specific part because they're telling you still to support the Democratic Party, even though the Democratic Party has betrayed the interest of black Americans since their inception. Now, why do I say that? We're gonna we're gonna talk about how Joe Biden pardoned everybody in his family, Liz Cheney and everybody, but didn't pardon any of his black supporters who he had on the front line in his lawfare against Trump. You didn't hear him pardon Fannie Willis, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, none of the other ones that participated in these things that are being investigated now. But he pardoned his family and a lot of others, but no black people. And I want you to hear out of Al Sharpton's mouth exactly what happened from this Democratic so-called leadership for black people. Listen what he's finna say. Now, this is for fair usage, for education, commentary under the 1976 Copyright Act. Let's begin. When he said you need the people for flash, because they're not going to really be there, he's low-key talking about Jasmine Crockett and AOC. They're the flash, while Nancy Pelosi and the rest of them hold the keys. But he's finna enlighten you to even more of the nefariousness of the Democratic Party. Let's continue to listen.
Love him, hate him, whatever.
Now think about that. But he's still asking you to be a part of a party to where you still are segregated and not respected or appreciated. He said he went and asked for him to pardon Jesse Jackson's son. He said no. They wanted him to pardon Kwame Kilpatrick. He said no. Biden didn't pardon anybody except his own family and white people that supported him. He did nothing for black people. Remember that he's Jim Crow Joe. Al Sharpton is telling the truth right now. for once. He's showing you how just because they came at Eric Adams, now he's not willing to say that he was going to back him if he runs again, even though him and Eric Adams have been friends out there in New York. See, the, these liberals, they've gotten so bold that they say the quiet part out loud. They get in front of you and they show you how their politics and their grasp for power is more important than any policies that may help or benefit the people. They're still trying to use fear mongering with Social Security and things of that nature. And they're lying about that. This is interesting that Al Sharpton would get out there and say the things that he's saying, because he know he has no place on the conservative side. So maybe he's just running some type of extortion on the Democrats. I'm going to keep talking and running you down unless you give me some position or some type of compensation to speak highly of you.
I definitely would.
Sharpton is shrewd and sneaky. He said that the flashy Democrats wasn't going to be around, the ALCs, the Jasmine Crockett's. That's what he's hinting at. And he says, even though he knows Trump will not work with him because Trump knows that he's a snake. You know what I mean? He told you Trump came to some of his conventions. He didn't want to tell you that Trump had donated money to him in the past. But now he's saying if there are those on the Democratic side who can work with Trump, they need to work with Trump, because how are you going to get anything done for your constituents? See, this we just hate Trump and we're going to stop everything he is trying to implement is only going to hurt the people, because it's several states, because of their position on illegal immigration, they're getting denied federal funding. Who does that hurt? It hurts all the citizens. So you got to think Al Sharpton is angling and trying to save himself because he sees the Democratic Party as collapsing. See, now that's how he lies. He said he can't think of anybody that can say that Trump did anything for him. How about Angela Stanton King pardon, Kwame Kilpatrick pardon, the First Step Act, the continuing money to the HBCUs, the very fact that he's no taxing on tips and no taxing on overtime dumps millions of dollars into our community, untaxed. They walk a thin line trying to play both sides. Let's just teaching y'all economic extortion. Flat out, he said we got to break them until they do what we want them to do. It's economic extortion. He's sure that he went on cost more than $500,000, $500,000 to fly to 3 conventions where you were given free tickets. The grift is insane that they get in front of you and they tell you things and you just can't connect the dots. This man is a paid shield, a paid operative to keep the status quo, a gatekeeper. I'm going to end on that note because he laughs so much. So I got to end on a note so he don't know who Candace Owens is. Clearly, he'll lie about anything. He knows exactly who Candace Owens is. But I want you to hear how he tells you in no uncertain terms exactly what the Democratic Party is about. It's not about legislation. It's not about helping you. It's about controlling and maintaining power over the masses while they get richer. He talks as if $500,000 and millions of dollars is nothing. Why our community suffered for the last 4 years, and we're at the mercy of the Democratic administration, who's at this point right now is still trying to sabotage any upward mobility from our communities. Well, that's all I got for you on this Wednesday afternoon. Signing to you at Detroit. This is Detroit's HPTV. As always, salute to all our patriots. Like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel. Peace.